JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, gun and ammunition seized in Kingston. The Denham Town Police have seized a Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 8 rounds of ammunition on Asquith Street, Kingston 12 on Monday. Reports are that about 4:30 a.m., lawmen were conducting an operation in the area when a man was observed acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. On the approach of the police, the suspect reportedly ran and was pursued. However, he managed to escape. The area was searched and the weapon was subsequently recovered. No arrests were made in relation to the seizure. Investigations continue. Body found with throat slash in St. Catherine. Suspect's home set on fire. The Spanish Town Police have arrested one person who is believed to be the main suspect in the murder of a man whose body was found with the throat slashed along Salt Pond Road in St. Catherine on Tuesday morning. Residents torched the suspect's home, which was not occupied at the time, in a fit of anger before the cops made the arrest. The identity of the victim has not yet been disclosed by the police. Reports are that the victim's mother discovered the body after he went looking for him this morning when he did not return home. The body was found at about 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday. The grisly discovery snarled traffic in the area. Traffic diverted from the Spanish Town bypass as forensic investigators combed the area for evidence. 2-vehicle collision in Manchester. Passengers escaped serious injuries following a 2-vehicle collision at the intersection of Mayday Road and Manchester Road in Manchester this afternoon. One of the cars overturned due to the impact of the crash. It is reported that sometime after midday, a Suzuki motor car, which was travelling from the direction of Mandeville along Manchester Road, was hit by a Toyota Wish motor car that exited Mayday Road. I was coming on a normal speed, and by the time I reached at the intersection, I see the car coming and I blow the horn. Luckily, no one was coming down, and I had to take the bush on the other side, and him still can't let me, the driver of the Suzuki said. He and 2 passengers in his car, which overturned, escaped serious injuries. I couldn't panic. All I had to do was hold the steering in position to control the wheels so the car wouldn't continue to flip, he said. The driver of the Toyota also escaped unharmed. Mayhem in West Kingston as gunmen attack community. Residents of Milk Lane in Denham Town, West Kingston, are counting their blessings after they were barricaded inside their homes for 30 minutes as thugs opened fire at them on Monday about 3 a.m. The bullet holes in several concrete walls, zinc fences, and a parked motor vehicle gave a chilling account of the trauma they experienced. People start ball out more than them be nice. If you about 30 minutes them stand up outside and a fire shot, them all throw buckle boom inside, said one concerned citizen. If I never for the gates them lock and the breeze will blow, would I dead by now because the buckle boom never work, another resident exclaimed. The residents also alleged that it was the second time within a 15-hour gap that they were attacked. They said it on Sunday, prior to the start of a funeral for Chad Coleman, who was killed on October 19 along North Street. Gunmen entered the area and opened fire at a group of mourners. During that incident, a 5-year-old narrowly escaped getting shot as people reportedly scampered for safety. A woman nearly broke her leg because she ended up jump over one old fridge and look up her foot on the wall. She'd have a baby with her, and as she run for cover the baby, end up rub up against the wall. The wall of her side scrape up, another resident said. The police in the Kingston Western Division were kept busy as there were also 2 murders committed on Sunday. In the first incident, Nika Frostman Francis of Tivoli Gardens, West Kingston address, was shot in the upper body multiple times as his hair was being combed outside his residence. In the other shooting, Abbott Futali Pennycook was shot and killed after he was pounced upon by unknown assailants along Orange Street. In response, the police imposed a curfew across the division, which started on Sunday at 6 p.m. and is scheduled to end on Wednesday, January 18 at the same time. The cops have also released the names of 18 men who have been listed as persons of interest. A vendor who operates a cook shop said that on Monday she was fed up with the situation that has been crippling her business. "Me said for lose thousands of dollars now because of what you spend up a lot of money for buy goods. Anytime things flare up, my business mash up because at evening time to night time me get me sale," she said. Man accused of killing attorney Clover Graham used fake address on bail bond, court told. The Home Circuit Court on Monday morning heard that the St. Catherine labourer, who is to be tried for the murder of attorney-at-law Clover Graham, gave the police a fake address on his bail bond. the defendant, Kieran Patterson, otherwise called Q, of Gordon Penny Spanish Town, was to start his trial on Friday as jumped bail. Yesterday morning, when the matter was mentioned, a prosecutor informed Justice St. Pusey that the police made checks at the address in Belvedere, Red Hills, St. Andrew, where he was granted bail to reside, but no such address exists. One of his lawyers, George Stewart, further told the court that multiple efforts were made on the weekend to reach him and his relatives, but were not fruitful. Arising from his absence at court, the judge ordered that the bench warrant be issued. Graham was found with her throat slashed in bushes at Caymanas Estate, St. Catherine, on August 19, 2012, hours after she was reported missing by her family. The Crown is alleging that Graham, who was employed to the legal aid clinic in Kingston, was taken from her home and then murdered. An autopsy revealed that she died from an incised wound to the neck. Patterson was among 3 men who were arrested and charged with murder and conspiracy to murder in October 12 in connection to her killing. Attorney at law Zara Lewis is also representing Patterson. Graham was a lecturer at the University of Technology, Jamaica, and the Norman Manning Law School in the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. She also worked as the United Nations High Commission on Refugees Honorary Liaison Officer in Jamaica. Her murder came 5 years after her son, Taiwo McKenzie, and his girlfriend, Janelle White, were killed in a similar fashion by men who demanded a ransom after a motor vehicle crash. Judge rejects sentencing recommendation for a driver of garbage truck that killed student. A sentencing hearing for Alton Brooks, the driver of the garbage truck that crushed and killed 7-year-old Benjamin Bear on the grounds of the Concarty Primary School in October 2019, took a surprise twist Monday afternoon when Supreme Court Judge Justice St. Pusey indicated that the court will be rejecting the sentence recommendation in the plea arrangement struck between the defense and the prosecutors, while stating that it would not disclose what was proposed, given that the matter might instead go to trial. Justice Pusey instructed that Brooks' bail be revoked and he be remanded. Attorney for Brooks, Davian Vassell, in indicating that he wanted to take further instructions from his client, asked that the matter be adjourned until this Friday, at which point it would indicate the route the defense would take. The writing was on the wall from early in the afternoon when the matter was called up, and Justice Pusey indicated that he was having difficulty with a sentencing recommendation for non-custodial sentence by Brooks' attorney based on 2 issues, one of which was an aspect of the social inquiry report in which a particular admission was made by Brooks. I am in a position where I do not believe that I will be able to go ahead with the sentencing recommendation as is. That would leave you at liberty to take instructions, whether or not you wish to withdraw from the plea agreement, whether you wish to have the court decide, or whether you want to go to trial, Pusey said. With Vassell indicating that he would wish to have some guidance from the bench, Justice Pusey indicated that he would rise and meet with the attorney in chambers to discuss the issue before returning to the courtroom. Upon returning, the judge indicated that the court was not rejecting the entire plea agreement and that it was up to the parties to decide whether they would withdraw from the matter and go to trial or whether they would stand on the agreement and make submissions. The elderly Brooks pleaded guilty to manslaughter in November last year and was to be sentenced Monday after his last court appearance Friday. The matter did not go to trial based on the fact that a plea deal was struck between the prosecution and the defense in the matter. In the incident, which rocked the school community at the time, Bear, on Monday, October 28, 2019, was on the compound of the school located in St. Andrew, waiting to be picked up when the tragedy unfolded. Brooks, who was in his 60s at the time, was the driver of the garbage truck that had been contracted by the school to clear garbage. The lanky white-haired Brooks, clad, as he had been at other times, in a grey t-shirt and pale blue jeans, which lingered several inches above his ankles, cut a forlorn figure as he was scuffed and removed from the courtroom. His bail, which had been granted since 2020, now revoked. FSC criticized for not alerting public to issues at SSL. Regulator of non-deposit-taking financial institutions, the Financial Services Commission (FSC) is being criticized for failing to inform the public about the irregularities that were occurring at investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL). But David Geddes, Director of Communication at the Commission, says the entity is restricted by law in terms of how much it can disclose about an investigation. It was revealed that the multi-million US dollar fraud at SSL, in which the shares of investors were sold without their knowledge, dates back to 2010. Financial analyst Dennis Strong says what was uncovered at SSL was a rogue operation, noting that for the most part, Jamaica's financial infrastructure is sound and the regulations in place provide adequate oversight. But Chung says there are a number of questions to be answered by the management of SSL and the FSC, as there should have been greater scrutiny. While he agrees with the FSC that it should not have commented publicly, he argued that the Commission could still have acted by conducting an audit at the investment firm. Remember, we're not talking about a fraud that is taking place a year or 2 years. We're talking about a fraud that they say was taking place over a decade. There must have been some telltale signs, specifically since the capital base would have been eroded, he reasoned. Chung suggested that the FSC will have to step up their operations much more in the financial industry going forward. Development economist and financial commentator Dr. Chris Stokes has suggested that changes are needed at the regulatory level, starting with a review of the Financial Services Commission and its powers. Dr. Stokes said the Commission needs more teeth to handle situations where dishonesty occurs within a financial institution. In defending the oversight provided by the Commission, FSC Director of Communication David Geddes insisted the regulator acts when breaches are detected at institutions, but does not necessarily comment publicly. A report from the Glean outlines that in 2016, the Commission had cited Stocks and Securities Limited for a culture of non-compliance and mismanagement, from which it served notice of intention to suspend the company's license. Geddes argued that the Glean report is not based on a public release from the FSC, insisting there are only certain circumstances within which FSC will issue statements related to its licensees, and there are regulations that govern the statements that we can make about our licensees. Geddes said the disclosure of breaches at an institution without the completion of due process could trigger panic in the financial sector. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.